Hello everybody and welcome again to another episode of Give It a Shot, Spotlight Edition, and today I am looking at the very first episode of the cartoon series for Garbage Pail Kids. Oh, it burns! Oh! I was going to start crying. Oh! 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 Whew, all right. That was less painful than this. Oh, God damn. This was fucking terrible. Holy shit, this is fucking terrible. But I guess before I get into this, I gotta lay out some premise to this. Not that there's really a premise to this to begin with. So, breathe. Okay. Happy place. Anywho. The Garbage Pail Kids are a parody, for those of you who don't know, and for those of you who actually do not know, you are living in a blissful world that will now soon be shattered. The Garbage Pail Kids were an invention of the 1980s as a parody reaction to the Cabbage Patch Kids, which when I was very little was a huge deal. I've actually covered a Cabbage Patch Kids episode on the review part of the channel. And that belch is kind of what you're going to get with this. Anywho, so the Garbage Pail Kids, the Cabbage Patch Kids. Oh, this is just going to be a belch heavy episode now. Oh, it burns the back of my nose. God damn. Remember, kids, I do dumb things for your humor. And, that's not a good idea. Anywho. The Garbage Pail Kids were a reaction to the Cabbage Patch Kids of the early 1980s. The most recent version of the kind of impact that the Cabbage Patch Kids had in reaction to something like this would be Tickle Me Elmo's in the 90s, or if you really want to get more recent, like trying to find a PS5 or a Switch, especially during the pandemic, like that. It's like that impossible when people were fighting and scalping these things. That's how bad the Cabbage Patch Kids were. So sometime in the mid-1980s, somebody thought it would be a really good idea to do a parody of the Cabbage Patch Kids and call them the Garbage Pail Kids. Now originally those things were just a trading card game. That's all they were going to be. I mean, they weren't shooting high for this stuff. And it was all gross out humor. Like most people, when they think gross out humor, the originators for that with kids was stuff like Ren and Stimpy. No, it wasn't. because it was way worse with the Garbage Pail Kids. I knew my parents never let me have any, but I had some friends who did have them, and yeah, those cards were kind of horrific. I liked looking at them for about 10 seconds, and then I'm just done. Never had a inclination to ever own them, but I knew they were a thing. I don't know. It's just weird to me. But I think it was 1986 or 1987, somebody got the bright idea that you could make a movie out of that, and they did. The movie's not good. I'm not even going to show a clip of that movie because it is utter garbage. It is widely recognized as one of the worst commercially made movies to ever grace screens. It's tragically bad. It's terrible writing. It's a shit show. But you really have to think about this in terms of like what the writers had to even work with, right? Because if you think about it, you're taking trading cards and you're turning them into a movie. Wow, that's a huge undertaking when you have next to no narrative to work with other than the names of characters and what they look like to do something with. And you turn that into a 90-minute movie. What were you expecting? And so I think what they were trying to do later with this was, okay, the 90-minute thing isn't gonna work because as far as I know, the movie was a flop. But if you did it in episodes and a cartoon, because I mean these things are supposed to be for kids, right? So why don't you stick something closer to what kids understand? Cartoons. I mean, the stuff on the card's illustrated. Why not just continue on with that artistic illustration instead of trying to do what you did with that movie? Horror. Anywho, yeah. So getting into this. I knew the movie was bad. I did not hold out much hope for this. Hence, that's why I already did all 4 shots. Because to me, to start explaining all of this shit, there's no other way I could have done this other than just slam all 4 shots now to get that part of the pain and misery over with. So as I'm recovering, this is kind of humorous to make fun of while I'm fucking hacking and coughing and damn near throwing up. So, going back to this, somebody at CBS apparently, I think that's where it aired because on the back of the box it says CBS DVD, so I'm assuming that's the channel that it aired on Saturday mornings in 1989. They had 13 episodes. I'm surprised they got that far. I don't know how many actually made it to air. But usually when you order a run of cartoons, they usually just run them and that's it because they know they can't really do much with them. And you know, to be fair, I can imagine this ran from like September to December of 1989, and that was it. So getting back to the premise, I don't think there is one. I really don't. I can see what they were trying to do with this. There's a lot of attempts at parody in this, and a lot of it falls flat. Now, granted, my early childhood was the 1980s, so I get a lot of these references. I totally understand it, but the writing for this, and I will argue this to the day I die. If you can't write a damn thing correctly, everything's going to fall apart. Because without the fundamental writing, the rest can be just total shit as a result. I don't care how good your movie production stuff looks, if you can't write something, it's just garbage. Hence we have this. So, like I said, the whole I wonder if this whole thing is self-aware of just how shit it is, because the very first thing you see when the episode opens is this woman who's like a news anchor, and you can tell it's the 1980s because she has shoulder pads in her business suit, because that was a thing. My mother had some of those. Talking about how disgusting the Garbage Pail Kids are, which was a huge backlash naturally of the things back then. I mean, they look tame now in comparison to what you can just, find on the internet. But back then, that sort of gross, just that kind of stuff was like repulsive. I mean, my mother thought Bart Simpson was the Antichrist. I don't even want to know what she thought of this stuff years prior. But the anchor of this news program, first of all, tells you how disgusting they are, and even recommends that you change the channel.
I think it's terrible that they would put something like this on TV. Don't you? Good. I'm glad you agree. Now, change the channel.
Because that's how you want to open up your entire series. We know we're shit. Please leave. It's like they're begging you to just ignore them. That's not what you're trying to do. But here you go. Then you segue into the theme. Usually a theme for any cartoon series will have some upscale animation, showcasing some of the things that the characters do, some of the villains, things like that. May or may not have a lyrics. This has none of that. This is just like they're doing weird shit in front of a movie theater and like doing some quick movie references, and that's it. And it's boom. There's your theme. So I'm already bewildered. I've already been told I should turn this off, which I should have listened. And then I'm just showed some movie references. Godzilla, Indiana Jones, all this dumb shit. Here you go. But I didn't listen, so I keep going. And now I'm in a spaceship with some aliens. And they're looking for a party, and they hear about Earth. And they come down to Earth looking to party. I'm assuming they landed in Chicago from the way things looked, because not too many major cities are next to ocean fronts. I mean, yeah, Miami might be another logical choice, but I mean, that was really... but the way the city looks built, it looked like it was more Chicago, but it might have been Miami. I don't know. I don't care, and neither did this show. So they land there, and obviously, they're looking to party, and everything in this first part, the characters are all different Garbage Pail Kids, which is different than what you see here on the front. None of these are in the first part of the show at all. They're all these different ones that I'm assuming are in the cards. I'm assuming, because I don't know, and I'm not gonna research to find out, because I just don't care. Okay? And like things like Mike Missile, General Pat Ton, because he's fat, and Gooey something or other, because he's dripping with egg yolk, are trying to fight the aliens. And like, I don't even know why these aliens are here, other than they're looking to party. And for whatever reason, they have army ants, because I guess on their planet, ants are a thing. And they let them go out into the wild. And the aliens actually like trash. And for whatever reason, the military dumps just tons of trash on them. And they love it.
Party favors!
Like, what? No, you drop bombs! I'm a peace-loving kind of guy, but if it's a threat and you're scared, you drop bombs on them, not trash. And, you know, the aliens are fine with it, but then, what the hell scares them away? Something scares them away. The fuck scares them away? Was it? No. Because the Navy comes in and they squirt water on them and... Oh, they got a news report on their giant radio that aliens had landed. They freaked out and left.
To bring you a special bulletin. Aliens have attacked the Earth.
Aliens? Let's get out of here!
But they left the army ants there, and the army ants apparently grow whenever they're hit with slime. And the tanks in this cartoon fucking shoot slime, so they grow bigger. Oh shit, okay, you know, if that happened the first time, then I'd say, that's a dumb thing, I'm not gonna do it again. But what the fuck do? They double down, and then they bomb them with slime, and they grow bigger. In fact, they bombed them with so much slime that it drowned the fucking city. So you've wiped out most of the humanity that's not living in like penthouses. And then the ants still survive this shit and keep going. And eventually the ants get so big, they're as big as Earth. And that's your ender. I don't know what any of this fucking means. I know jack shit. I'm confused the entire way through it. Like, what was the purpose of this? Fine. Then they have some interstitial shit. I'm not going to talk about it. I just, would we lie to you or whatever the fuck it was called? Nope. Get that off the screen. Fuck you. Out. It was dumb. So then we get to the next part, which I'm assuming is the main story of the series, because it's got these things on it. Oh look, I broke a fucking head. You know what the funny thing about this is? This is a 13 episode DVD. It's the complete season. Even the place that it was $2.95, I think they actually gave this to me for free because I bought some other DVDs. That's how much they didn't want this shit. Anywho, I guess what's the main story is these kids are part of a team of some sort. I don't really understand it, but it's an ensemble cast. Here's 4 of them. One, his body falls apart. Another one, her face is in her hand. Another one, he's like liquid. Another one's all stretchy. And then you got the one who's like the leader because he's got a mohawk. Because in the 80s, if you had a mohawk, that means you're obviously a leader. I guess. Because you're cool. Anywho, apparently this whole thing revolves around going back to that lady with the shoulder pads. They're called the Fun Busters. It's a group of villains, so to speak, that don't like the Garbage Pail Kids, which I don't blame them. I am totally with them on this. I'm actually sympathetic for the villains. But the thing about the Garbage Pail Kids, these 4 or 5 are actually normal kids until they go to their hideout, which is a garbage truck in the dump. Now, before they, that's where they go and do their thing. The only thing that was of note that was even, I would say, remotely entertaining, they poked fun at Teddy Ruxpin with this hedgehog or porcupine thing that you put a tape in and it tells you a story.
Tell you a nice story. Do you want to hear it?
Yes!
Want to hear it? To hear it? To hear it?
That thing dying is the only humorous thing, period. Now, I will also say Other things die. Mike Missile, from way back in the first part of the episode, he dies like twice. So things die. Cool. Usually for it, but I just don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. So they go to this garbage truck, and it's kind of like Charlie's Angels. They talk to this thing that's like an amalgamation of trash, and it speaks to them to go do this mission, and it's all about these batteries which are destroying toys, which we later find out. It's created by these fun busters who are looking to destroy all toys in America because all the good toys fucking run on batteries.
What's on the battery development?
We have completed production of enough batteries to ruin most of the toys in America.
You didn't have to have batteries to have fun. Now, back then in the 80s, yeah, batteries helped make things fun, but you still had your imagination. You want to destroy toys nowadays, it's not hard. You have video games. That's why Toys R Us is no longer fucking around. But, you know, that's just my commentary on that shit. I'm still pissed off at this. I'm rambling in an angry manner right now because of what the fuck I just went through, and this is still burning in my throat. But god damn it, I'm getting this done. So their plan is to get these shitty batteries into toys to break them. Which again, logic, kids can find shit to do. Kids have a knack for finding fun in shit that you shouldn't have fun with. Period. That usually results in children's deaths, but, well, you know, that's why they have Punky Brewster episodes with, you know, kids getting stuck in refrigerators and shit like that. Anywho, I guess they act like detectives and they're trying to figure out, like, where this shit's going on, and then they fall into a trap. A couple of them get captured, which they do nothing with. They're just sitting in the brig for all I know. Well, these other two, which, as far as I'm concerned, have the best special abilities, they kind of remind me of the Impossibles. Like, one's made of liquid, and another one's all stretchy. Like, the other three, I don't know what kind of abilities they have. Now, they bring in a special character to help them. Hot Doug.
This is Hot Doug, though he's disguised as a normal Frank.
I'm not a Frank, I'm a Doug.
So he's like in a hot dog bun, some shit. Kind of helps, but no real impact with him. And so the whole idea is these three get captured. They use Hot Doug, which is basically a naked child covered in mustard in a hot dog bun. Let's just be honest about this shit. It's what it is. They throw him out to tell them, which I don't know how he finds them, but he finds them on a golf course, because that's really what the fuck you want to do. And they go back to the evil people's lair, the Fun Busters Fortress, for all I know and care what it's called. I really hope they were never planning on making toys for this shit. And they don't even show them freeing the other kids from the cell or anything like that. They're there, and they do shit to fuck up the adults, the Fun Busters, and then it ends. It's over. We stopped them. The Fun Busters retreated, and that was it. Story over. Yeah, I was left confused. I couldn't understand it, and then they had another interstitial thing, but fuck that. Not even going to talk about it either. I can see why this only had 13 episodes. I can see why I should have got this for free. This is just as bad as what the movie was, and it's not just the gross out stuff. I can handle gross out humor. I'm used to very disgusting things, but again, it goes back to my central argument that I usually have for any of this shit. If your writing is not good, then the whole thing is going to be trash. That's what this is. It's trash because it's the Garbage Pail Kids, because they don't know what the hell they're doing with it. It should have been more manageable. to do this in, well, like cartoons are like 22, 23 minutes, to do episodes, you know, which would be far more manageable than the movie, right? Because, I mean, to write those characters for 90 minutes, that's going to be a slog. But you've got this idea with the trading cards where you can do this parody stuff and try to work it. And I could possibly see it working if it's done well, but what I see here in the first episode, I don't. Because, and this is another thing, this is probably one of those, we're going to cash in on some merchandise that's popular, even though it's 3 or 4 years past its debut, so this is going to be pretty rough. And it's going to show its age a little bit. Because, even if I looked at just the theme, the intro to this series, I see the potential there. Do some things with those, movie references, which they do a lot of. Like, there's references to, like, this movie, this, and you would think this, because of this, I might like this more. It's reference heavy. There's references, there's parody and reference to things that I like, music, movies, television shows, all sorts of shit. But they don't stick to it very well. Like, there's even Michael Jackson references with his music. I think it was Michael Jackson. I might be going crazy. I don't fucking know. I down for these fucking things, and I'm just not feeling right now. But regardless, I watched this, and for 23 minutes, I am confused. Totally confused. I really don't know what's going on, and it hurts. Not just this. This. Well, you see what my rating is. I went to Vlad before I even started talking about it. I got the original movie from my best friend for a Christmas gift years ago, and it solidified how much I know my friend hates me. I even told him that, because that was pretty excruciating. This, I was like, well, 20 minutes, they can't do no, they did it. They did it. You see my rating, you know how I feel. Fuck this movie. If it was a movie. Fuck this series. That's how I feel about it. If you want to do yourself a favor, if you really want to hurt, if you want to experience pain, then yes, you can go find this shit on YouTube. It's there. I don't recommend it, but you can do it. It's like licking the sticker label on a Nintendo Switch game. It's there, you can do it. I don't recommend it. So yeah, it went to Vlad pretty quick. I'm done. Toodles.